Good morning, Prof and friends. We are Group 9 and I'm Bing Cheng, and together with Joycelyn, Dhruv, Charmaine and Travina, we'll be presenting on this week's topic, augmentation and automation. So this will be a brief rundown of today's presentation content. So firstly, we'll touch on the definitions before going into detail on automation, following which we'll talk about the similarities and differences between automation and augmentation, before touching on augmentation and wrapping it up with the mitigating problems that augmentation faces in today's society. So firstly, for definition, what exactly is automation and augmentation? Well, automation starts off with a baseline of what people can do and subtracts from that. So the intent of automation is to eliminate the human element from tasks as soon as this task can be codified and computerized, so that this task can be completely done by machine in an automated manner, therefore the term automation. So essentially, employees are punished in the long run by workforce or pay reductions as their roles are deemed redundant because the machines are doing it better than they are. Well, for augmentation, the difference is augmentation focuses on how work can be deepened rather than diminished via the collaboration between the human and the computer-based machine. So the intent of augmentation is to enable people to do more valuable work and create more value by virtue of the collaboration, such that the more mundane tasks can be done by the machine and the human can work on things that are more important and value-adding. Now, let's talk about automation. The biggest question with regards to automation is whether it is a problem. Well, employees certainly seems to view automation very negatively, as seen from Volume 5 of Asian Management Insights. There are many reasons why employees do not look upon automation favorably. But firstly and primarily is the belief that automation will replace the jobs that the employees do and they will be rendered redundant by automation. Well, that may be true, but that is something that I believe will only happen when automation hits maturity. And as of right now, the current iteration of automation, it definitely provides a lot of benefits to the workforce and the employees themselves. Well, firstly, for the employee, automation reduces the workload of repetitively mundane tasks and allows the employee to have more time to focus on the portion of work that requires our brain to work creatively and effectively. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, let's just take the example of human resource and the automatic tracking system, ATS. So with the introduction of the ATS, HR personnel focused on recruiting no longer have to spend exorbitant amounts of times updating information with regards to when the resume was received and when the resume was filed, and can now focus on the more important and crucial parts of HR, which is finding the right candidate for the role. Now, automation also serves as a fail-safe to work processes and provides a form of risk mitigation. Now, what do you mean by that? Automation helps to eliminate the human error factor. No matter how skilled we are as humans, we are bound to make errors. And by introducing automation, we can help to eliminate or reduce the possibility of human errors to almost zero. And that is very helpful to employees because not only will it allow for our company to perform well, it will also reflect well on us, on our KPI. So lastly, and this is mainly why I believe automation as it is right now is beneficial, because automation does not function on its own in its current iteration. It requires a lot of human assistance, and while it does render some form of repetitively mundane tasks irrelevant, that there is a worthy consideration to be made that while those tasks are rendered irrelevant, the human resource that were initially placed into doing this task can now be retooled into doing something else more effective and perhaps something with more value to both the employee and the company. Now, I'll pass on my time to Joycelyn.
So next, I'll be talking about the similarities and differences of automation and augmentation. So in the 2017 Deloitte State of Cognitive Survey, companies with the capabilities, which means they have the most experience and the highest expertise in AI, tend to use AI as a form of creating new products or for innovation. And this is known as work augmented with technology. As for companies with the least experience and expertise, they will tend to use AI to enhance their productivity, which means achieving more automation in their workflow. And this is thus known as work automated with technology. The business rationale actually differs substantially between the two approaches. Automation directly reduces labor costs, whereas augmentation promises better business insights and decisions. So the first similarity would be the difficulties in integration of the new AI efforts with the existing processes and systems, as most AI applications need to be integrated into the existing organization in order to realize business benefits. This would mean that the existing databases need to be open to the AI applications for their free access so as to so as to train the AI applications. As for the second point, they tend to make use of the internal customers, which are the employees, to test out the capabilities of the AI, as these AI applications tend to be more engagement based, and therefore this is categorized under cognitive engagement. Next, we'll be moving on to the differences. So, the intent of automation is actually to eliminate humans as soon as tasks can be codified, computerized, and automated. Whereas augmentation's intent is to enable people to do more valuable work and create more value by virtue of having the machines help. Next, we'll be talking about the different examples for the differences. So for automation, there's a robotic process automation RPA used in the financial sector. So for the financial sector, RPA is used to help perform redundant and mundane tasks without error, where such tasks include reporting, data entry, processing invoices, and paying vendors. Another example of the automation found in this sector would be the chatbots who are able to answer questions and also provide solutions. This task falls under cognitive process automation. Next, we'll be talking about augmentation, where there's machine and deep learning in healthcare. So, deep learning is actually the use of deep neural networks that mimic how a human brain functions, and as seen in the healthcare sector by infravision. Deep learning is actually very powerful due to its ability to learn from data and its ability of the system to actually teach itself effectively. In China, InfoVision was actually trained and taught with real-life data from previous CAT scan images to increase this model's accuracy of identifying signs of cancerous growth in the lung scans through this method called supervised learning. And this helped radiologists detect and diagnose cancer more accurately and efficiently, as it reduces the chance for human error to occur during this diagnosis. And with InfoVision, radiologists can avoid the repetitive work and use their time on other areas that the patient may need help in.
Now I'm going to talk about the drawbacks of augmentation in view of business organizations. We have identified four drawbacks, being high costs, assisting humans, no original creativity, and unemployment. Firstly, high costs. Creation of AI requires huge costs, and they are very complex machines. Their repair and maintenance require huge costs. They have software programs which need frequent upgradation to cater to the needs of the changing environment and the need for the machines to be smarter by the day. In the case of severe breakdowns, the procedure to recover lost codes and reinstating the system might require huge time, cost, and effort. Secondly, assisting humans. Intelligence is believed to be a gift of nature. An ethical argument continues whether human intelligence is to be replicated or not. Machines do not have any emotions and moral values. They perform what is programmed and cannot make the judgment of right or wrong. Even cannot take decisions if they encounter a situation unfamiliar to them. They either perform incorrectly or break down in such situations. Thirdly, no original creativity. Do you want creativity or imagination? They are not the forte of AI. While they can help you design and create, they are no match to the power of thinking that the human brain has or even the originality of a creative mind. Human beings are highly sensitive and emotional intellectuals. They see, hear, think, and feel. Their thoughts are guided by the feelings which completely lacks in machines. The inherent intuitive abilities of the human brains cannot be replicated. Fourthly, unemployment. Replacement of humans with machines can lead to large-scale unemployment. Unemployment is a socially undesirable phenomenon. People with nothing to do can lead to the destructive use of their creative minds. Humans can unnecessarily be highly dependent on the machines if the use of AI becomes rampant. They will lose their creative power and become lazy. Also, if humans start thinking in a destructive way, they can create havoc with these machines. Conclusion: AI in wrong hands is a serious threat to mankind in general. It may lead to mass destruction. Also, there is a constant fear of machines taking over or superseding the humans. Based on this discussion, the Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence (AAI) has two objectives: to develop and advance the science of artificial intelligence and to promote and educate about the responsible usage of AI. Identifying and studying the risk of AI is a very important task at hand. This can be helped in resolving the issues at hand. Programming errors or cyber attacks need more dedicated and careful research. Technology companies and the technology industry as a whole needs to pay more attention to the quality of the software. Everything that has been created in this world and in our individual societies is the continuous result of intelligence. Artificial intelligence augments and empowers human intelligence. So, as long as we are successful in keeping the technology beneficial, we will be able to help the human civilization.
Moving on, as new technology rapidly emerging, our society is also changing to keep up with the pace. Not only do jobs undergo transformation in terms of structure or environment of the workplace, but it also changes us, the way we think and the way we do. We are expected to be receptive towards this transformation as augmentation and automation is inevitable. But are we ready? Are we prepared to face this kind of future? To embrace this future of work? Don't panic, because we can face this problem. But before that, who are we? We are the undergraduates, students who is preparing to work in the future, the penultimates, entering the workforce in a few months. We are also the workers, currently in the workforce or in the pinnacle of their career, and job changers. But for today, I'll be presenting on the undergraduates parts, while my teammates Charmaine will talk more in worker side. As we know, behind every innovations, every operations, even automation and augmentation itself, there will always be people behind of it. As technologies advance day by day, we need to keep up with it. And in order to do so, we need to prepare ourselves not to be shocked when we enter the workforce later. But as undergraduates, how can we prepare ourselves? Well, first of all, you can learn skills which are transferable across jobs. These skills include general cognitive skills or the capacity to understand an increasingly uncertain environment, aka adaptability. Critical thinking, problem solving, reasoning, STEM, logic, and communication is also important. There are also an emphasis on creativity and lifelong learning. The purpose of learning these skills is to help undergraduates face future workforce uncertainties, as we will never know what the future holds. And by doing this, we're also preparing ourselves not to be so shocked when we enter into the workforce. But how can we obtain these skills? Well, you actually have already done it even in university. As theories are important, but practicality and technical things are as equally important. Nowadays, education system becomes more flexible in combining technical and general subjects in their studies. For example, project-based discussions or on-the-job experiences, such as internship, part-times, even volunteering work that you have already done. And we can actually utilize this to better equip ourselves. Because by doing discussions, by doing internship and other kinds of on-job experiences, you're actually faced with the reality. You're faced with realistic conditions. This will help you prepare what it takes to be in a workforce, in a dynamic workforce. And the third and also equal essential is learning basic IT, but it doesn't mean it is limited to coding itself. Because jobs are getting more diverse. People are hiring people who is good at IT. But it is not only Python, it is not only Tableau, it is also not only R, SQL, and that kinds of coding, but it also involves blockchains. It is involving hardwares and IoT and so on and so forth. But having a course or e-learning courses on IT is very expensive. But actually, right, we're actually given the opportunity to learn such things. Therefore, learn your AB1401 diligently, boys. It is very important. Now, I pass my time to Charmaine.
Okay, so thank you, Trevina. So after going through about how students can prepare for the future of work, now let us look at people who are currently in the workforce, like what they can do to stay in their jobs and add value to it. So Professor Tom Davenport has spent his professional career doing field studies on new ways in which larger corporations have been making use of information technology and reorganizing knowledge work. He has come up with 5 ways of stepping to provide 5 alternatives for employees to renegotiate their relationship with the smart machines being used to partially or fully automate cognitive work, and for how employees can realign their workplace contributions. So these 5 ways of stepping is to step up, step aside, step in, step narrowly, and step forward. And I'll be going through what each of them mean in detail and the actionables that we can take. So firstly, step up. This refers to the executives who will be making the decision on when, where, how to invest in AI capabilities across the portfolio of the organization's business needs. So kind of like being senior management material and being able to consider the bigger picture than any computer can. So how one can do this is to maybe attain a higher level of education, perhaps an MBA or a PhD, and also to constantly challenge themselves to gain broader perspective on their work. So next, we have step aside, and this refers to being the person that can handle the human-to-human interface, and that is often very important. It's kind of about bringing strengths to the table that aren't just purely rational or codifiable cognition like a computer. So how one can do this is to develop the other types of intelligences other than IQ, like EQ, for example, and to gain like tacit knowledge through apprenticeship to learn more of how other companies are doing this as well. Next, we have step in, and this refers to a person who has deep experience with a process or functional area, learns to work symbiotically with the smart software application. So basically, it's just someone who understands how software makes routine decisions, so that this person will particularly monitor and modify its function and output. So how one can do this would be to pursue some STEM education, STEM, by taking courses that specializes in this area, and also to keep updating themselves about their business domain expertise. Moving on, we have step narrowly, and this refers to those who will keep on doing some type of highly specialized work that they are currently doing, and to continue doing it in very much the same way as they have been doing it. So it could be someone that specialized in something that no computer program has actually developed yet, but it is possible in the near future. So how one can do this is to look for a narrow niche and master it, and by doing the work with passion and focus. So to keep expanding in and diving deeper into that niche. Lastly, we have step forward, and this refers to those in the organization who will be the technology designers and engineers and the software system creators, consultants, and implementers. So basically, they will be the ones that will be building the next generation of smart machines. So how the actionables that current employees can take for this would be to stay at the cutting edge of computer science, artificial intelligence, and analytics, and learn to spot candidates for automation. So I've just covered the 5 steps, or the 5 ways of stepping from Professor Tom Davenport, and we've come to the end of our presentation, and we've shared with you about the definitions of augmentation and automation, going through their similarities and differences, explaining to you about the problems that could arise with implementing augmentation in business organizations, and how undergraduates, mainly those who are preparing to enter the workforce, on what they can do to prepare, as well as the current population who are in the workforce on how they can work around it. Thank you for listening to our presentation, and I hope you enjoy it. Please feel free to ask any question if you have, and thank you.